So at this point, you might be seeing a sort of a pattern with regards to the articles that I'm having you kind of digest and look at with regards to health literacy skills and so forth. One of the things that you're going to notice that in this shared decision making, I'm going to point out health literacy skills for shared decision making, conceptual knowledge, graphical literacy. Wait, what? Health numeracy. Wait, what? Go back to the very first article. Hello. I'm just throwing that one out there. Love it. Anywho, so let's talk. Oh, let me turn on the annotate. So when we think about shared decision making, how it connects to health literacy, we have to involve our patients. We have to involve our clients. We have to involve our community, right? But as health professionals and public health professionals, public health educators, we need to make sure that that plain language is there. Oh, and here it is. That plain language. We developed a literacy program that included a shared decision-making section. That decision-making section has to include the community. It has to include the educators. It has to include as many people as you could possibly think of that's going to help bring a better quality of life, more confidence and skills to communicating health and health literacy in general. So with that said, I'm going to kind of scroll down a little bit. And they even state it here. What do you know? Wait, what? There's a growth. And this article is written in 2019. So it's not that old. Okay. The causes and consequences of low health literacy in the community. There's so much needed out there. Okay. However, after a few examples of interventions to develop, where did it go? There's relatively little work targeting adults with low literacy who are typical. Bam. Wait a second. Isn't that an article author I wanted you to read? Yes, it is. Hint, hint. But anyway, I want you to kind of digest what we look at here. We're health consumers. Should we have our areas be unreachable with low literacy? What happens to them? Okay. I love this too. An alternative approach to engaging consumers with lower literacy is through the establishment of educational programs. So what kind of programming could you do? I like to say, what's the reel it in? Think about commercials. How do they reel you in? How do we get them in? How do we get them to knock on the door? Okay. So I'm going to kind of leave that to your thought process for just a minute. Okay. And I want you to kind of go through and take a look at table 1. Okay, I'm going to scroll down to table 1 really quick. Digest this table. Okay, the ask, share, know questions. Very important. It's like a teach-back method. Okay, what are my options? What are the benefits and harms of those options? What are some of what's the data behind it? Okay. And then they notice that there's numerical risk worksheets. Okay. Again, how do we get them to make these decisions? Engaging in this and talk about shared decision making. Develop self-efficacy. This goes back to health behavior, right? Okay. So taking a look at table A, I want you to kind of digest it and think about it from an advocacy standpoint and then think about it from your own health literacy standpoint. Okay. The other thing I want you to take into account is, as mentioned, that graphical literacy. This is graphical literacy. So taking a look at the health literacy and then the shared decision-making process. And so you look at the health literacy and the shared decision-making process, you can see that it's close to 60% where it's patient-led. And it states, I prefer that my doctor and I share responsibility for the decisions for deciding which treatment is best for me. That was very high health literacy and high decision making. That's important. Okay. But now you take a look at it, and I prefer to leave decisions regarding the treatment to my doctor And notice how low it is. Okay, when it's physician led. Okay, so I thought that was quite interesting. But going back up to take a look at this and then kind of digest the percentage of participants selecting each item on the controlled preference scale. Again, language literacy, numeracy, and shared decision making. And then again, think about that. And I'm going to flip this because I want you to kind of look at this important health decision making. Okay, let's go back and rotate that right. Sorry about that. Okay, so looking at this, assessments of questions important to decision making. Okay, now I'd like to kind of have you think about this and how would you rank some of these? Would you rank them at all? And how could, for example, could you tell me which are my options, please? If you're speaking with a physician, is that an important aspect? What are your options? Okay, am I going to the doctor because I'm sick? Now, where would you rank some of these examples or definitions? Okay. Let's see here. I think I talked a little bit about that. The recall, share, ask, share, no. I want you to definitely look into this. Okay, this is the literacy arm only. Okay, and then I'm going to go down as usual. I'm looking at the strengths and limitations. Okay, so the challenges. Ooh, let me bring that up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so we experience practical challenges. Okay, again, what are some of the things that we can increase on? What are some of the things that from a literacy standpoint we can remeasure or measure and provide more valid information for? And if we go down, oops, I think I passed it. Talk about dropout. Oh, here we go. In terms of measurement, currently there are no general measures assessing consumer health literacy skills for decision making. My question to you is, why not? This article was published in 2019. By now there probably is, but maybe not. So how can we, I also like this too. However, the 14-item curriculum base was not validated. This is where, as researchers, health educators, we need to have validated curriculum. What does that mean? That maybe you have tested out first, measure it out, do the assessments, do the evaluation, and then pull in some more research to make sure it's valid. Because we want good information going out and good training going out, correct? So I think the last one is to meaningfully address health literacy, we need to continue to investigate tailored modes of support and sustainable avenues for delivery that can facilitate functional, communicative, and critical skills development. What does that look like to you? How would that work in your context of your field of interest with regards to public health?